On Sunday afternoon, ministers and government officials fanned out across Region 4, where they met and engaged with residents. InfoHub now brings you coverage from our teams on the east coast of Demerara, Georgetown, Greater Georgetown, and the Linden-Susdike Highway. Prime Minister Nagamutu, along with a team of government officials, visited the community of Monrepo, where several issues were raised. The Prime Minister, in his remarks, encouraged residents to get registered.
There's a big exercise going on to get persons to register, not register to vote, but to make sure that you put your name on the national register. 14 years and above, there's going to be a new roll that will be compiled of all Guyanese 14 years and above. You will have your ID card, your new ID card. You'll be able to have identification to go to the bank, to be able to apply for a loan, to apply for land. You'll need your documents. So I want to encourage you to register, to cooperate with the registration officers who are coming to your communities. Encourage your neighbors, encourage your families to do so.
The government's focus on education was also reiterated by Regional Information Officer Region 3 Ganesh Mahipal, who said in keeping with President David Granger's vision for an educated nation, the government has invested in the sector since assuming office in 2015.
And that is what we mean when we say we have to have an educated nation. We get the educated nation by providing the resources to the school and to the teachers. Make the environment more learning friendly, more conducive to learning. And we have headed in that direction. Region 4, Region 2, Region 1, Region 3, Region 5, Region 6, all across the country, there has been increased focus on education.
Residents were left satisfied after Ministry of Communities Department of Community Development Representative Ernest Elliott assured that the Monrepo Primary School's playfield will be rehabilitated. Prime Minister Nagamutu also donated sports gear to the school. InfoHub spoke with several residents who commended the government for engaging them at the grassroots level.
This is something that we have not had before in 2015, right? And from my standpoint, I think it's a good effort.
Well, I must say it's fruitful. I felt real good. I mean, I was a bit surprised because I was planning on being the second person, raising the issue about sports equipment and all of that, and to see the minister actually, giving us, donating sports equipment and stuff, it motivated me to continue working and getting things done.
I now hand you over to Naticia Isaacs, who is in Plaisance.
Thank you, Anara. Now, residents of the Industry Plaisance NDC are slated to receive a new community ground and a new bridge that links the Sparanam housing scheme to Plaisance. The bridge is a major thoroughfare in the community and serves hundreds of people. At the community meeting held at the St. Paul's Primary School in Plaisance, scores of residents turned out to engage Minister of Communities Honorable Ronald Bulkan and Director General of the Ministry of the Presidency, Joseph Harmon.
Once it is within the resources which are available to us at every level, at the NDC, at the RDC, and at central government, that we will bring the power of the state onto these communities to ensure that the quality of life of our citizens are improved and made better.
Director General Joseph Harmon said that funds will be made available as the project now comes under the government's Rapid Impact projects to be completed before the end of 2019.
So you don't have to wait until next year, in the next year budget, to get that bridge. We are going to find the resources and fix that bridge this year. And that's not an election promise. That is a promise that we make to the people of this community, because we are concerned about the way in which you live and the quality of life which you have.
Minister of Communities Honorable Ronald Bulkan spoke of his ministry's increased support to the neighborhood democratic councils.
This system was so damaged and degraded as a result of the neglect to which it had suffered, that it had become dysfunctional. And as I said, our communities themselves had been overcome with numerous problems. So the next step for the administration was to provide meaningful support on a continuous basis to these newly constituted councils to be able to help to restore capacity within them and effectiveness.
Now over to Neola Damon in Cummings Lodge.
This government has demonstrated that they are trustworthy. We're not dishonest. We don't, with 4 years, all of our ministers and all of our government officials are clean. There's no accusation of any corruption among any of us. Would you want to make a mistake in giving the administration of this oil revenue to a person that you don't trust?
Honorable Minister within Ministry of Public Infrastructure, Jai Paul Sharma, told residents that they will see new infrastructural development through the relocation of some $27 billion US via the International American Development Bank IDB funds.
I could say to you, Cummings Lodge is the beneficiary of that, the reformulation of the IDB loan and the reallocation of that 27 million US dollars. So this is what is given to one of the communities, and Cummings Lodge is the beneficiary. You will not see it physically because it's being implemented as we speak.
As we now join our team in Georgetown, I hand you over to Paul McAdam in Lodge.
Thank you, Neola. Over at the Lodge Nursery School, the message from Finance Minister Winston Jordan to residents was get registered and don't be fooled.
Now I know all our comrades here ain't buying into the nonsense of the opposition, but house-to-house registration illegal and all this kind of thing, all right? Because they want to set you up. You see how the numbers have been accelerating of late? 170-something thousand. Those people are registering. They're saying one thing at the top, which is typical of the PPP anyhow. And they do something else. Their people are registering. Or the people who they say is their people, they are registering. So don't get caught in any trap.
Finance Minister further warned residents not to be fooled by those who may come into their communities waving what he described as wads of cash.
Don't let anybody of any color or persuasion come to you shaking a Granger or two to tell you vote for somebody else or don't go out and vote. These people are flush with money. They are flush with money. They are well connected and well supported in Guyana and outside of Guyana. You might be amazed to know who support them in which country.
InfoHub got a reaction from several of the residents following this interactive community meeting.
It is good that the minister was able to come out. We were glad to meet him. It was very informative, and we're very glad that he was here and able to address some of the issues and concerns that we have.
It's good that he is coming down to meet the people. And what he spoke about before the meeting started is very interesting, and it's facts. No need to run from it, it's facts. So what we have to do is listen to him, work along, share our ideas, as he said, and things will work out. But he being here, the minister being here, is very, very good. That's a leader.
He spoke a lot about half for the government, half for the entire country. He spoke very well. And I would like to see more of this happening in communities around the country, right? Minister Jordan is positive on what you're saying, and he's a minister, seems to be to his word, right? Our street lights, our drainage, the playground for our youths in the community, right? He will look into it. And we will work along with him to make sure it happens for the community.
We cannot expect better than this. He's a man responsible for this area. I know where he's living, and I accustomed to him with his mother and his grandmother, his mother and his father.
It's not just a top-down approach, but to come out and meet the community and hear from the community is also a bottom-up approach. So tackling it from both angles is excellent. I commend the government. Great work. Wonderful.
We now hand you over to Shaquille Bourne in North Georgetown.
Thank you, Paul. Minister of Education, the Honorable Nicolette Henry, encouraged parents to do their part in their children's education.
We are getting improved performance in all of our secondary schools in this country. And I would like to know that we continue to get that improvement. But we can only get the best out of it if the parents are involved.
After some concerns were raised about the drainage situation here in Constituency 12, the councillor provided a response.
Just about 2 weeks ago, I would have brought in the Junior Minister of Infrastructure, Jaipal Sharma. I would have brought the mayor and the engineer for Mayor and City Council. And we would have taken a look at the issue, and they're right now discussing the matter when they're going to do the works. I guess I think they mentioned to me that it was the weather, and once the weather hold up, that they're going to come and fix that problem. We know that the alleyway in between the Blue Mountain Road and Unity Place, this is the main alleyway that is going to take the waters from that community and lead into Southland Veldt. So what we're doing is we're spending some of that $5 million to remove the vegetation, do some form of desilting of that alleyway so that we can have a flow of waters. We did this last year, it worked, and we're doing it again. At any time now, once the the approval is given from Ministry of Communities, we'll start that project.
A resident from within the area also encouraged citizens to play their part.
In our fairness, let our own self be true. We know that some residents do not clean the drains and the alleyways. We know this. I mean, there's so much we could put to the government side, but then again, we had to look on our side. If we keep our individual sections cleared, then the burden, the strain would not go to the government side that much.
Let's now turn our attention over in Campbellville, where Felicia is reporting.
The meeting with the Honorable Raphael Trotman, the Minister of Natural Resources, got off to a good start in Campbellville constituency number 3. The minister held an impromptu meet and greet with residents as he walked about the community. Following the walkabout, residents prepared to interact with Minister Trotman directly. But before this, Minister Trotman made it known that he was disappointed in the state of the Campbellville area.
So if you're a councillor for a community, you are a councillor for everyone. So it's quite sad to see the state in which we all are being made to live. Sorry to say so, but let's be honest. And so, even as I was walking with Mr. Mentor, I kept jabbing him this afternoon that we have to do something about this. So if it is that the councillor, whoever he or she is, has abandoned you, some of us have to take over.
That sentiment was agreed with by residents.
So far, we have nobody to represent us.
I talk about the councillor for this area. I don't know where to find him, he look like. And then we see Mr. Mentor, but then we see the council.
On Wednesday, I will get a truck to pick up the tires and move them up. Tuesday, we go to the city hall.
Other matters raised included clogged drains, mosquito infestation, health-related matters, and rehabilitation to the Camptown Community Center.
We got a ceiling that needs to be done. More than ever, I would like the fence to be done, a proper fence, because it would keep out idlers, it would keep out people who think that they would come in here and lodge down for a day or 2 or a week or a month or so. They had a gutter with the water when the rainfall used to drain off. What happened now? When the children finish playing in the pasture, when the rainfall, all them together, you see the water kicking out. Now they find themselves that they're getting germs and all them running to Campbell and Center for Clean the Eye. They're picking up germs. Why? Because we had a gutter down here, because other people had the block the gutter. So now, it ain't got no drainage.
Well, that's a wrap from your DPI team here in Campbellville, constituency number 3. I'm Felicia Valenzuela, handing you over to Delicia Haynes, who's at another part of the capital city.
Thank you, Felicia.
The residents of Tiger Bay were reminded of the priorities of the APNU-AFC government. Ministers Annette Ferguson and Dr. Karen Cummins took the opportunity to reiterate the government's commitment to improving sectors in Guyana.
Our coalition government of Guyana, since coming to power in May 2015, has embarked on a number of transformational developmental initiatives, primarily designed to benefit not some Guyanese, but all Guyanese. And if you look around, you can see some of those transformative changes. Great sums of money have been budgeted for and spent on infrastructure development, housing development, education, improved public health care, security, and improved wages and salaries, to name a few.
We have to work with NESIL. They too have control over lands. So when I called Mr. Trevor Ben, just last week I made contact with him, and I said, Trevor, you got to let me know where can I get some lands so that I can start and opening up housing areas so that our people can be satisfied.
I now hand you over to Isaiah Braffett.
Thank you, Delicia. Minister within the Ministry of Social Protection, Keith Scott, said his walkabout in the West Ramsville community gave him a clear understanding of the issues affecting the people.
Being able to walk around the West Ramsville and as well as the industrial scheme, it has helped us because the people are happy that we have been able to walk and come anyhow to them. They a lot more have been sensitized as to the purpose that we are here for, and there are many questions were asked about when is elections, what are we doing, and there were concerns. People asked about housing, and some of those other items like the roads need repairing and so on. The people themselves were able to bring these things to us as you walk around.
The residents, he said, are happy with the work of the coalition government and are looking forward to re-electing the administration.
They all have, incidentally, they all sounded very positive to me, and they're all solidly behind the APNU AFC. They said they just can't wait for the elections to come. They're very happy and they're prepared to work. They're also awaiting the registration people to come to them. They're all very happy.
I am Isaiah Braffett with senior videographer Kwesi Wishart for InfoHub. I now hand you over to Kellan Rover, who is over at Long Creek on the Linden-Suzdijk Highway.
Thank you, Isaiah. It is not campaigning for votes, but meeting with the residents to listen to their concerns and finding ways to address their issues is the focus of his visit. This was clearly stated by Minister of Citizenship, the Honorable Winston Felix, during a meeting at Long Creek on the Linden-Suzdijk Highway.
And the reason for the visits is to communicate with you, to listen to you, to hear of your needs. What are the problems affecting you in this community? Maybe it's like electricity, maybe it's water, maybe it's a school, maybe it's a playground. I do not know. So this afternoon, you will be given an opportunity to communicate with us.
Minister Felix stressed that the government is legitimate and will continue to work in the best interest of all Guyanese.
This government is a people-centered government. The government is concerned with the development of people. And the president has promised Guyanese a better life.
Meanwhile, residents of the community were given an opportunity to speak about some of the issues that they are affected by.
My concern is that I have 2 children going to Long Creek School. Now, if my husband is not available to carry them to school, I will have to carry them. And it's a very long way to go. Walking my child who's just 7, he's asthmatic. And sometimes before we meet school, we have to stop 3 to 4 times before we meet. And that's our walking. So my concern is transportation for these children to go to school.
The government engagement did not end here. Alexis Rodney will share more from Hararuni Creek.
Thank you, Kellon. I'm here at Hararuni, a small community on the Linden-Soestdijk Highway. Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs Sidney Alicock met with residents, and he committed to taking the issues raised to the respective agencies and ministries. Several issues were, however, resolved on spot. These include the rehabilitation of the main access road to the community. Much to their satisfaction, residents learned that the Ministry of Public Infrastructure will soon commence work on that road, bringing an end to decades of an impossible thoroughfare. Residents also learned that in less than a month, the Ministry of Public Telecommunication will be setting up an information and communication technology hub. Bringing government's message to the people, Minister Alicock stressed on the importance of education and urged residents to make the best of opportunities that are available to them.
You should ask the question, what have I done for this community? What is my plan as a young person with all this energy? What suggestions have I made? What plans do I have in mind? How do I eat 6 meals a day with all this land around me here? Would it be by going to Georgetown when I don't have the money to buy chicken and greens? Or could I do it right here and sell instead?
Residents said the minister's encouragement has laid a foundation for them to build on.
In this process, we as a people often get lost in, we need our drainage done, then the government has to send someone instead of coming together to do some things for ourselves. And sometimes what I think he's trying to say, we can get lost in that mindset. And we can actually do some things for ourselves.
You really spoke from your heart to us. And what you said to us, if we take it in a meaningful way, in the intent in which it was uttered, I believe we can revolutionize our lives in ways that, without even government coming in and doing everything.
I think what the minister said, myself being a businessman, I understand the importance of sometimes thinking out of the box and sacrifice, and sometimes being in community of such like Haruni, you could get very, I could say, feel shut away, and you limit yourself a whole lot, right? But sometimes when you step into other community, you realize the same things you're crying for that others get in, that you think they are at a better opportunity, you realize they have to work even harder than you are willing to work.
With videographer Leon Liang at Haruni, I'm Alexis Rodney reporting for InfoHub. Let's catch up with Communication Officer Nikosi Bruce at Yarra Cabra.
Thank you, Alexis, and I trust things are well over there in Hararuni. We're here at the Yarra Cabra Primary School, where Honorable Minister within the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Valerie Garrido Lowe, is here to listen to the concerns of the residents of Yarra Cabra.
We pay attention to the ordinary person and the bread and butter issue. And that comes first. Just now, you will tell me how happy you are and what we can do together to make you happy.
We need some serious business right now, some serious trouble right now. Whereas the government raised Mr. Bukan rent. I don't know what it was before, but now it's $4,000 a day rental. 6,000 a day rental now. So, Barry, you're supposed to address this very urgent because 4 or 5 portions will be out of a job from Tuesday coming.
I am farming to send my children to school. Lands is giving me a hard time. The woman from Inland Survey that was in charge of Region 4, Munifa Dorenko, told me only Guyanese entitled to a piece of land, and she had my ID card in her hand.
Come to the ministry on Tuesday, Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, the Welfare Department, Miss Pauline Welch. All right? She will be able to get that for you through our ministry.
On behalf of the InfoHub teams on the East Coast, in Georgetown, and here on the Linden-Susdike Highway, I am Nkosi Bruce for InfoHub.